Hello everyone, and welcome back to this course on sustainable aviation. My name is Arvind Ganguly Rao, and I will cover the propulsion module for this course. So let's get started. You see, flying is a dream, and we, as enthusiasts of aerospace, aeronautics, flying, we are so much surprised by the way birds fly. Now imagine a world if there were no birds. My question to you is, if there were no birds, would we still fly? Because the urge to fly for humans naturally came by looking at birds. Now let's see what happened. How did we end up flying actually? So because the inspiration to fly came from birds, we tried to imitate them. Yeah? So people tried the kinds of attempts that you will see in the video. So we tried to have some kind of a wing, some kind of a tail, and let's see how did that end up.
He's going to soar gracefully off the rock. Keep your eye on the birdie. Cuckoo, cuckoo.
Now you see that our systems of muscles are not capable of flying. Yeah? So just trying to imitate to fly like birds does not work. Now in this video, fortunately, the cliff was not high. But in reality, people tried to have the same kind of attempts with much higher cliffs, and that did not end up well. Now, since we realized that our systems of muscles are incapable of flying, so we tried to invent some kind of machine. Yeah? Now, the propulsion system was not good then, but nevertheless, we tried to have some kind of a propulsion system. And the next video will give you a glimpse of that. So let's see how that went.
It's a momentous occasion. All aviation stops to watch.
Yeah, here also you see that there is some kind of a machine, some kind of a wing, some kind of a tail. So some of these elements that we use in modern aircrafts are there, but however, the propulsion system is just not capable of providing the thrust. Yeah. There were other attempts as well for flying, like the one that you will see in the next video. Yeah. This vehicle was called a sky car, but it never left the ground. Yeah. So you see that the propulsion system is sort of the key in flying. Now, one of the first persons to sort of formalize these aspects for aviation was Sir George Cayley. Yeah. And what you see is on this picture are some of the elements that we see even in a modern aircraft. So there is some kind of a wing, some kind of a tail, yeah, some kind of a fuselage for humans to sit. Yeah. Of course, the propulsion system is not here because this is a glider. And nevertheless, Sir George Cayley was one of the first persons to sort of coin the term power to weight ratio. And what he said was that powered flight would be possible if an engine would be able to produce more power in proportion to its weight than the animal system of muscles. Yeah? So this term power to weight ratio that he coined was very important for aviation. And we'll come back to this term in the subsequent lectures. Now this is a famous picture that all enthusiasts of aviation know this. They're the first flight. Yeah? But was this really the first flight? Because we had the hot air balloons flying, we had the gliders flying. So what is special about this flight? This is something that you should think. The first flight was on 1903, yeah, in the Kitty Hawk Beach in Ohio, and that created history. Okay, so you see that the first flight, it lasted for only a few seconds and for 120 feet, which is less than the wingspan of a Boeing 737. Yeah? But on the very same day, they tried more attempts, and on the fourth attempt, they reached almost 900 feet and lasted for a minute. Yeah? And then the flight crashed. Yeah? Now, the elements that they used in the first flight, in the first design of aircraft, are still being used today. So the wings, so the control surfaces, and the propeller. And what made this flight possible is the propulsion system. Yeah? So let's look at the propulsion system. And here you see a picture of it. You see the propeller and the engine. Yeah? So the engine that was being used was an internal combustion engine, which was the best state of the art at that time. Now that provided approximately 12 horsepower 12 horsepowers and weighed around 90 kilograms. Now that is not so good as compared to the engines that we use today in your car or in your bike. Yeah. However, this was the state of the art. Actually, the engine was uncooled, so it could not be used for a long time. Yeah. But it provided enough power for the first flight. And now we will see what happened from that point onwards. They started a revolution, and the revolution really caught on. We have made a lot of progress since then, and that's something that we will see in the next lecture. Thank you.